Alright, so today we're going to be looking at a match I had in Ranked against CaptainComeback. His deck is an example of a meta that's pretty common to see right now. He's running Swords, Archers, Triple Spell, and a Mythic Enchantment. Sometimes people go for Blazing or Glacial, some people go for Vampiric. He's also got Spirit and Spawn, which can be pretty dangerous early on for some decks to handle with, but the way my deck is designed is that I'm going to turtle up and I'm going to absorb anything that he can throw at my miners until I build up the critical mass needed to push to his tower. Now for this early game, we both invested in about 100 crystal early on. I'm going to put that in a Castle Archer because I'm anticipating that there's going to be some sort of rush coming in because I'm leaving my miners pretty undefended. He's going to put that in Spirit and Spawn to try and get that early Spiriton rush. My Castle Archer here is going to force his Archidon to retreat. Nearly takes it out too, but no, his Archidon will survive for a moment. Now we're both just queuing up miners as we build up our economy. That first Spiriton comes in. I don't know he has it yet, but as soon as I see that Spiriton, I know that I need to get that first Toxic Dead out to help defend, especially with that pesky Archidon. It's probably going to be eco-sniping me for most of the game. With just a short, quick garrison, I can bring my miners back out again to get on the mines, and then I get my Toxic Dead out to help defend. He's going to be done building miners shortly, and however, he's going to lose his Archidon here from a pretty cheeky Castle Archidon's shot, so he'll have to build that over again. You can see I'm already investing in a second Castle Archidon to help fend off those Spiritons, but you can see here the Toxic Dead is already handling it beautifully. Only took about 4 hits from the Spiriton, but the Spiriton 400 still got just cut down without any support. Now that he has his Archidon back and he's bringing it back up on the field, he's going to start massing a ton of swords to try and rush my tower later on in the game. Now with that Spiriton coming in, he's going to again probably bring that Archidon in to snipe me for some cheeky hits on my miners, but again with my Toxic Deads, they're protecting, it's not going to do very much stuff. I'm building my last miner here. I usually go for about 12 miners for this deck because it's a very resource heavy deck, especially with giants, especially with monstrosity and Castle Archidons. A lot of upgrades, a lot of expensive units, and I need those miners out there to get gold as quickly as possible so I don't get overrun early on in the match. However, instead of rushing me at all, with those swords he's building up, he elects to just let his Spiritons go in one by one without really supporting them in any way, which I kind of found to be odd. I mean, he could at least like send in an attack because he has mass heal. He has more than enough crystal to use it. He also has projectile barrier and snow squall, so he can protect his swords from my Castle Archidons and heal them as well when fighting those Toxic Deads, but he chooses not to. Now he's got that second upgrade for the Spiriton spawn, but it's not really going to matter. I tag his Archidon with Toxic Deads, so he has to retreat with that, and he can leave my miners alone for a change. Now I'm building that first monstrosity tier along with my last Archidon, and I usually go for about 5 Toxic Deads to defend, a nice solid line of them, which is about 1500 health, or as much as a tier 3 monstrosity giant, which helps soak up any waves of swords that come in. It gives my miners time to retreat, allows me to bring out anything else I have in my garrison to help defend. As you can see, he just cuts down the Spiriton again extremely quickly, doesn't stand a chance. He's gonna, however, keep stacking swords here. He's got a bunch in his garrison that he just pulled out again because he had that Archidon garrison, so he's gonna bring that back up to mid tower. Now I'm gonna show you a trick I did with this monstrosity that it's a bug that it allowed me to queue up 2 giants and have them build at about the same time. So basically, just as this upgrade is about to finish, you're going to see me queue up a giant and then queue up another giant immediately after that disappears. You can see me add it right about here. Yep, right there, and boom, it's gone. And you see me put the second one in, and though you can't see it because it only shows the one in the queue, both of those are actually building at the same time, which is pretty busted. And with the Vault of Prudence giving me a good stream of gold coming in, I don't have to worry about the 3,000 gold I just spent on 2 giants at the same time. And I'm turtling here, so I have a pretty good defense in case he tries to rush me. Even with that max tier 3 Spiriton spawn, it still only gives his archer time to shoot a couple shots at my army, which doesn't even do really much because all my units are heavy. And you see, boom, 2 giants just out like that. I'm going to send them both to garrison because I don't want him knowing how many giants I hit out. I'm just going to continue keeping my miners here, building more giants, getting that last tier of monstrosity. Looks like he's building more archidons to support either that Spiriton that he's rushing in or just in general to have a few more ranged units. I'm guessing from looking at the toxic deads I have set out, he was planning and seeing that they don't have rune because with rune they have 5 chunks of health instead of 4. He probably felt pretty safe to make a ton of swords and go ahead and rush, but that's not a good idea when your opponent has a good amount of giants. You'll see that fairly soon as I'm building up these last few giants here. Also, apologies if I sound a little monotonous. This is my first time doing a voiceover, so again, I'm sorry if I don't sound the greatest right now. It's really just with the state of this game right now. You can see me sending out some miners here because of my Vault of Prudence. I don't need them anymore, and they're just taking up population, so I'm sending them out to get removed and make more room for my giants. But really, with the current state of the game right now, I mean, there's the good stuff and the bad stuff. I think spells definitely need a rework. They're too easily spammable, and the fact that pretty much every deck used in high ranks and most decks overall have 2 or 3 spells in them shows just how broken they are right now. I can see here I have about 4 giants. He's going to bring his swords up to prepare for an assault on my base. I'm going to send that other giant back to my garrison. And I'm really just waiting for him to attack here because that's what I'm expecting with this kind of deck. I usually just leave a few units out to defend, and then I bring in the massive amount of giants later on to attack his army when he charges. He's still building a ton of swords. Yeah, I'm already at full population. He's at like 3/4 population. He's going to put a projectile barrier to protect my archers. You're going to see these units go down army, so I'm gonna go ahead and push because I've got 5 giants with over 1,000 health. There's not much he can do to stop me at this point. I like to stack them together like this so that they don't get separated as easily. Like what he tries to do here is he tries to user control a unit and distract my giants to give them time to build up, but I anticipate that and I swing in the opposite direction to prevent him from doing that. So I'll just help out as well, but he'll continue to try to delay my giants in that fashion as I continue to push ahead here. He's gonna get that last spear spell right now before I take tower. I'm just gonna continue building giants because I don't really need any deaths at this point. Giants are the main thing I push with. The statues got low health already when I first pushed. My giants so I can chip away at the statue while those giants tank. get a snow squall to slow me down again, which isn't going to do much. He does manage to sneak past my giants here, but I'm going to let this one over here run forward while he has to deal with the other 5 giants over here. And at this point, I see he's retreating, so I'm just going to take a smack here at this Archidon. I'm going to regroup with my other giants, continue pushing ahead. Thought he would run back there, but he didn't that time. I probably should have been queuing some more giants at this time, so I had one ready in case one died. But that was just an oversight on my part that I can easily fix. See, he's going to run past me again, so I predict that. He does get past me again, but I figured I know what he's up to. I'm going to block his path. Make sure he doesn't go past that. Now I got those giants, and I finally start queuing that one giant I should have queued earlier. All that giant's gonna be taken down by that castle because I still have 5 more giants on the way to destroy his tower. Actually, make that 6, actually. I swing early to prevent this Archidon from running past me. Do it again here because he tries to pop past heal, but that doesn't really work when you get 2-shotted by giants with your units. And at this point, it's basically done over. He just simply doesn't have enough damage to take out my giants before they destroy the statue. And that's kind of how my deck is supposed to work, is I'm supposed to build up a lot of giants, take out a good sized portion of their army when they attack my statue, and then push forward with basically immunity because they don't have anything to take out my units with. And that's the match there. I run into decks like this quite often, but as you can see, sword spam is not always the way to go. Hope you enjoyed watching. I'll try and upload more soon.